Brewery, San Calagione.
It's been a long, strange, but wonderful trip.
From a Boston beer company, Jim Cook. Welcome back to the Friday Beer Buzz, Jim.
Well, it's nice to be back.
They're normally from Aberdeenshire in Scotland. From Brewdog, we have James Watt and Martin Dickey. Welcome to the show, guys.
The biggest mission today is just make other people passionate about great craft beers as we are.
And now, the three-time winner of the Pennsylvania Association of Broadcasters Excellence in Broadcasting Award, the recipient of 2 Pennsylvania Associated Press Broadcasters Association Awards for Excellence, promoting and advancing the craft and microbrew culture in Northeast PA. This is another edition of the Friday Beer Buzz!
Ow! Anyway, the Friday Beer Buzz is powered by Sabatini's Pizza and Sabatini's Bottle Shop and Bar in Exeter, the area's greatest selection of rare craft and imported beers. Growlers and crowlers and 37 rotating drafts at Sabatini's Pizza and Sabatini's Bottle Shop and Bar. Wyoming Avenue in Exeter. So Lindo Sabatini, as always, is here. Good morning, Lindo.
Good morning.
And Bill from My Beer Buzz is back. Hi, Bill.
Hey, happy Friday and happy October.
Oh, gosh. Welcome back. Are you already missing it?
I am, yeah. I had to remember how to put shoes on, so that's the first sort of lesson you learn. And then it's, I was just telling Johnny Lucas, it was 80s and 90s on the beach, and you come home and I'm wearing a sweatshirt in the house. So,
Temperature or age of people you hung out with?
Temperature. The age is much younger.
Yes.
All right. No problem either way.
Well, welcome back. And back now, we're all going into that long fall into winter spell. But it's good to have you back.
Thank you. Yeah, it's good to be back. I was just also telling Johnny, I'm looking at my notes here, trying to figure out where's my pen, and I'm all out of
Shoes, pens.
All out of sorts. All right, so tell us about some big beer news that might be going on.
Yeah, so the good news of the vacation is I have been practicing beers and keeping up on beer news. And one of the tidbits we missed, it actually happened right as I was leaving, very quietly actually, the GABF, the Great American Beer Festival 2021 occurred, and they did their award ceremony at an odd time. They did it on a Friday afternoon or Friday evening, but I thought we would run down the winners because, as we know, those GABF medals mean money to these breweries. They mean everything to a lot of breweries, and some of these small breweries, it puts them on the map.
Yeah.
So 2021, last year they didn't hold it because of COVID, so a little bit coming together again in 2021, so that's nice. This is the 35th edition of the GABF competition. There were 9,680 beers judged from 2,192 breweries, one beer from all 50 states plus DC and Puerto Rico. There are 170 judges. There's your dream job. And the average number of beers in each category was almost 199.6 entries in each of those categories. The category with the highest number of entries, any guesses?
IPA.
You're close.
Oh.
It is
Lager.
juicy. No. Not close.
Hazy.
Yes, juicy or hazy IPA. There were 427 entries, and the gold went to a beer out of Washington, D.C. Normal, Illinois, from Distilled Brewery, someone we had on the show before, and it is their Deadhead IPA series Tour Bus. And that won. And so that's a big deal. When you win the biggest category and the most popular beer style, that will be big things to Distilled Brewery in Normal, Illinois. There were 290 medals awarded to 255 different breweries, so some of them won a lot of medals this year, and 425 first-time GABF entrants and 30 first-time GABF medal winners. And I always like to suffix this conversation with, how did Pennsylvania do? This was not a great year for Pennsylvania, but there were a few. Dock Street Brewery down outside of Philly won a bronze for the contemporary Goza category. The beer is called Man Full of Trouble. Attic Brewing, the Philly area, also won a silver in the Bach category for a beer called Unresolved. And probably the most well-known one, and the one that I was most excited about, the Chamonix Creek Brewing Company. Had them on the show and done interviews with them. They are from Croydon, Pennsylvania, and they won a gold medal in the smoked beer category. And the beer is called Croydon is Burning. And while I'm not a huge smoked beer fan, this will mean good things for Chamonix Creek. And Jeremy, Nancy, do you remember Jeremy Cowan on
Yes.
the show with us?
Yes.
Do you remember his claim to fame? His claim to fame was he has the deepest voice of anyone we have ever had
Yeah,
on
well,
the show.
we thought he'd be a great radio host if that whole craft beer thing didn't work out.
Yeah, and Schmaltz is very, shtick oriented, and they've been around for 25 years, and so they are brewing a beer called Exodus 2021, and that beer is being brewed to celebrate their 25th anniversary and their farewell.
Oh, no.
They're closing down Schmaltz Brewing Company, and Jeremy says you can't start a new chapter without putting a period on the last one, otherwise it's just a typo. So Jeremy is moving on to something called Alphabet City Brewing in upstate New York that he's been focused on, and they are ending the Schmaltz brand.
Well, I thought he was going to go into radio or something, but hey, he's still doing
I
it.
know.
So that's good.
He would have called in. Is this the guy whose voice was so low human ears couldn't pick it up? It was just very rumbling and basic.
He had a great voice.
Nice,
He had a great radio voice, and maybe he's going on to do America's Top 40 or something like that. And then in the really good news category, we have three quick ones we should run down here. Trogs is doing something called Double Nugget Nectar. And if you know me, you know that Nugget Nectar is one of the few beers that every year I go after it and I chase it and I get it. They're doing a double version of that. It will have Simcoe, Azaka, Columbus, and, of course, Nugget hops. Munich malt. It'll be packaged in 16-ounce cans. And if you're wondering, it will hit 9.5% ABV. And they're calling it a Double Imperial Amber Ale. But most people will taste it like an IPA. Nugget Nectar is an Imperial Amber, so they're doing a double version of that. That should be a really good beer. The packaging is on mybeerbuzz.com. Founders is bringing back the original, KBS, the original they're going to call it, and that stands for Kentucky Breakfast Stout. It's coming to their Barrel Age series. That'll be out in spring of 2022. That's how far ahead of the game I am right now. And it's loaded with really, really good chocolate and coffee flavors. That beer hits 12%. And one last tidbit before we get to today's news. Oscar Blues is doing a beer, and we've had Dale Katechis on the show. He was really one of our more fun guests. And the beer, Dale's Pale Ale, is named after him. They're doing a beer now called Double Dale. And it will be an American double IPA that hits 9% ABV. And if that's not enough fun, it will be packaged in 19.2 ounce cans. So that's a lot of 9.5% ABV.
It sure is. Wow, it sure is. But Lindo's brought us some beer today. What do we got going on? What's this?
Yeah, we've gone back and forth on this one. I'm not a huge pumpkin beer fan or a huge lager fan, so it's a good one to have while I'm not in the studio. But it comes to us from Lexington, Virginia, from a brewery that I think has one of the cooler names in the brewing world, and that is Devil's Backbone. And the beer is called München on Pumpkin. And if you're guessing, you may have already guessed that this is a pumpkin beer. And this is 12-ounce bottles?
Yes. 12-ounce bottles. I think the art's fantastic. I was just talking about it out the air. I caught myself trying to use my fingers to expand the label on the bottle because I couldn't really see the art that well.
It doesn't work on it.
And that's what's happening with my old eyes now. But it's a pretty decent pumpkin lager. I mean, I'm not a huge pumpkin guy either.
Yeah. I just sampled this thing, and my face probably, Linda gave me a look, like, oh, what did my face say? And I'll tell you what I was thinking.
You were confused, and then you started to think, I actually might like this.
That's what's close, because I tasted it, and I wasn't expecting. I think this might be the first pumpkin beer I've ever tried.
Really?
But what was weird is at first I was like, oh, okay, so that's the pumpkin. And then as I kind of exhaled, it changed from pumpkin to like a pumpkin pie almost. It was like I don't know if there's any cream in this, but
the spiciness?
No, like how if you have a pumpkin pie with the red whipped cream, it kind of balances it out.
So you're
nice.
saying like there's a creaminess to it?
I don't know where I got that from.
I get you. I mean, I actually taste it. My major problem with any pumpkin beer is when it's overcloved.
Yeah.
I can't tell, when it starts to have too much clove in it, it starts to slip into like the Yankee Candle realm.
I don't like pumpkin pies with too much clove. Like there's just a right amount you need. So yeah,
this is balanced out pretty decently. And one thing that's cool about this is it is done in a lager versus a ale. Most of the pumpkin beers are pumpkin ales. This is a pumpkin lager. These guys are known for their lagers.
Right.
They have their main beer is their Vienna lager. So I think this is probably just a twist off of the Vienna lager, and I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's not overbearing at all, and it's a little more than subtle. Like you don't have to think about it too much. You know it's pumpkin, but it's good. It's just
Something else I want to bring up about this.
Traditionally,
Go ahead, Bill.
Go ahead. I was going to say, traditionally pumpkin beers, you get, pumpkin itself doesn't have a lot of flavor, so you get the mulling spices and the pie spices. And you mentioned Vienna Lager. We did feature Jason Oliver, their brewmaster, on the show back in February of 2016 with Vienna Lager. But go ahead, sorry for interrupting.
Yeah, no. One thing I want to bring up about this beer is it being made by Devil's Backbone. Devil's Backbone has Anheuser-Busch money behind it, and I run into this hurdle a lot when people don't want to try the beers because it's big beer, AB. This is a perfect example of a beer that probably wouldn't have existed if AB wasn't involved, because they wouldn't have the tank space or whatever to be able to do a lagered pumpkin beer. This is where big money helps you, because this is actually a really good beer that probably wouldn't have existed. And for the beer geeks out there that hate anything that's big, you should try these kind of beers, because they're actually a nice beer.
Is this similar, I'm guessing, to like in the entertainment field? Like I could write a movie script at home, but I can't put the movie out myself, so I go to Hollywood and they put the money behind it and make sure everyone sees it.
Yeah, kind of like that. It actually is.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
They were founded in 2007 by Steve and Heidi Crandall, and it was based on a trip to the Alps, and they had a German Weiss, and they loved the beer. They brew predominantly lagers, but then in 2016, Anheuser-Busch bought them out, and they've made their distribution better, they've made their variety of beers better, and they've made the number of styles that they produce better. And the one thing that I try to get out to people, and Jason Oliver stressed it when we were on the show, and people make this mistake, it's one of the more common beer typos, is it is not possessive. Devil's Backbone, it's not DEVIL apostrophe S, and they corrected me for that because I put it in a post. And it is named for a ridge. They're right along the Appalachian Trail in the Blue Ridge Mountains. And you can actually hike to the brewery from the Appalachian Trail if you want to, and a lot of people do.
Right.
But Devil's Backbone is named after a ridge of mountains in the area. And they were named by Peter Jefferson, and that name may not ring a bell, but if you're from Virginia, you would know that is the father of President Thomas Jefferson. And he named that region 300 years ago, Devil's Backbone. So the name, I think, is...
So Devil's Backbone is similar to Harvey's Lake. It's not possessive. There we go. Right?
No, I think Harvey's Lake is possessive.
I don't think so, because everything I've looked everywhere for Harvey's Lake is not possessive. Even when I look it up on Wikipedia, it's no apostrophe there. It's similar to Clark's Summit.
Possessed.
It was named after Benjamin Harvey, so it was Harvey. I've been using this apostrophe all along.
Yeah, and you live near there, so what the heck. All right, today's beer, Devil's Backbone without the possessive apostrophe. Okay, everybody, it's one shot on pumpkin. You've got this at Sabatini's, right?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
All right, it is the Friday Beer Buzz powered by Sabatini's Pizza and Sabatini's Bottle Shop and Bar in Exeter. The greatest selection of rare craft and imported beers. Growlers and crowlers and 37 rotating drafts at Sabatini's Pizza and Sabatini's Bottle Shop and Bar, Wyoming Avenue in Exeter. The Friday Beer Buzz.